Hi, welcome everyone. Super nice that you're joining again live from VolksYoga, from this beautiful hotel, this beautiful living room yoga to living room yoga. We're just gonna do this and I have a lot of support on you. I hope I can support you as well to stay healthy, stay fit, to stay connected with the body, as yoga is all about connection. This class is the third one of the yamas. It's called Asteya. If you have no idea, the Eightfold Path of Patanjali is something you can study next to your physical practice. The Eightfold Path, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. The first one is the Yama, the first step of this Eightfold Path. According to Patanjali, it's a universal vow. It's good for everyone, and you can just take out what is working for you. We already had the first one, Ahimsa. You can look this video back if you want. You can watch it back. The second one was Satya, truth. And today I'm gonna just talk a little bit about Asteya. So, yeah, it's the Asteya is actually the non-stealing one. And yes, of course, it's logical that you think, okay, I'm not gonna steal from the shop, or I'm not gonna steal from my best friend. But in a deeper layer, where do you maybe steal time from yourself? Or who bought maybe some nice, or not bought, but who maybe used some music, what's officially not yours? Or when are we stealing ideas from someone? So it's not immediately a bad thing, but it's something where we can think about, like, hey, where do I actually use things from someone? They are not actually mine. And why am I doing that? So it's a journey within to just help you to discover the self. So I hope I'm gonna inspire you with that. So let's come into a comfortable seated position. But before we start, because we need for the second part today, we need a belt. So maybe you don't have this nice fancy yoga belt at home, but if you have one, grab it now. And otherwise, maybe you have a normal belt. A normal belt, if you use, can work perfectly. And otherwise, an old t-shirt, an old sweater, a towel. Often I'm using also, if I don't have a belt, a blanket. And you can just really open it out completely and then just make a little bit of a roll inside, and here you go, a beautiful belt. So take your time. I actually sometimes use a sock, but it's just maybe the size of the sock gets a little bit bigger maybe after the practice. So maybe a belt or a book, if that's helping you. So a belt or anything what we can use for a belt. And then let's start with a seated meditation. Just feeling the sitting bones into the floor, or into the chair, or wherever you are sitting. And see if you can lengthening the spine. Relaxing the eyes. Maybe make some funny faces. Contracting, releasing the facial muscles. Really settle in for this practice. And I know there are probably thousands of reasons not to join this class. But where are you stealing from yourself if you would not just focus on this class? And give yourself the time to make that connection with yourself. It's a very important investment. And where are you stealing from yourself when you are not giving yourself the time to close yourself from the outside world? So from this moment, just let the outside world outside. Asteya. I live in gratitude for all I have. I take and use only what is rightfully mine. I respect the possession and talents of others and release my desires to own objects or talents I do not have. I appreciate my life as it is. I appreciate my life as it is. How is that affirmation resonating with you? Maybe when it is, when you are in a place of appreciation, this affirmation can feel very nice and soft and gentle and happy. But if you happen to be on a place of not really appreciating where you are, this affirmation can just make you angry. And if you're on a place of resistance or anger, see if you can just breathe through that anger, invite the resistance. And know that that experience you have soon or later will change. Trust the process. And slowly bring both hands in front of your heart. And humbly bow your head towards your heart. And if you like, you can set your own personal intention, a wish, a dream. Maybe you like to dedicate this practice. And personally, I don't know if it's resonating with you, but I will share something about my start of my yoga practice. So often when I start my yoga practice and I come to this place of setting an intention, I also like to dedicate my practice, and often I dedicate my practice to people who are in the hospital. Because those people, they only have one goal, and that's getting better. One goal, that's surviving. And if you have been laying in a hospital once in your life, you know how that feels. So for me personally, it helps me to appreciate that I actually can do my practice, no matter how I feel. But I have my legs, my arms, my physical body, my breath, and time to actually spend time on my yoga mat. And I know also that doesn't feel always like that, but I don't know, maybe it helped you. Slowly from here, move into a child pose. Before moving into a child pose, if you want to straighten out and stretch your legs a little bit, do so. And then come into this pose of a child. To ground, to feel where you are, to just drop. Connecting with the breath. When you connect with the breath, you can maybe feel some kind of lightness by your in-breath. And as you experience some lightness on your in-breath, can you maybe also experience some heaviness on your out-breath? Let's give ourselves 2 more breaths here in pose of a child. And then very slowly come up to all fours, hands and knees. Let's start with a cat and cow pose. So on an inhale, arching, look up. And exhale, rounding, pull the navel in, pressing the hands, knees, feet to the floor. Inhale, creating that space on the front of your body. And on an exhale, creating that space on the back of your body. Just 2 more on your own. And then come back towards the center and then start to free flow. So any direction you like to move your body. Closing the eyes can help you to tune within and make it your own private dance. Maybe you like to stay still a little bit or explore a little bit of a certain area of your body. And then slowly come back to all fours. And for a moment, just come lay down onto your belly. Placing the hands in front of you. And then bend the left leg. And then see if you can grab your left legging or pants, whatever you're wearing. Or maybe you can grab your foot. And then see if you can just press the heel towards the buttocks. You can relax your head onto your hands or arm. If you want, you can also press your chest a little bit up. And then slowly change side. So bending the right knee. And then see if you can hold maybe your leg or part of your trousers. Or maybe really press that heel down towards your buttocks. Maybe it's more relaxed to rest your head onto your hands. If you want to keep it a little bit more active, you can also try to opening up the chest a little bit. So, non-stealing is also really to appreciate where you are. Why do you want to look towards others while you have actually everything you need, your unique self? So slowly come back and then come back to all fours. And then tucking the toes and slowly press yourself back. And come into a downward facing dog. So often in yoga class, we also tend to compare ourselves. But instead of comparing ourselves, see if you can just be really happy for what you experience and what you can. And then also be very happy for other people. Because they have different lives, different lifestyles, different bodies, different desires. So it's actually so, a weird and maybe even a stupid thing to do, to compare ourselves and to steal our dignity from ourselves in a way. So just bend a little bit, walk the dog in its spot, enjoy where you are, enjoy that feeling like feeling of appreciation wherever you are, whatever you experience right now. And then come into a more stillness of downward facing dog. And then lifting up the right leg. And look under your own body and see if you can spot your own right toes pointing down. Pushing both heels away from you. Straightening the arms. And now look forward and see if you can just gently come to the tips of your fingers. And then maybe from 5 fingers come to 3. Come to 2, come to 1. And then lift up the left arm. Stay very close, keeping the balance. Now press your heart area towards your left leg. Slowly come back. Other side, lifting up the left leg. Look under your own body and spot your toes pointing down. Really spreading those fingers wide. Pressing the heart towards your right thigh. And now look a little bit more forward. And then come to the tips of your 5 fingertips of your right hand. And then maybe only 3, 2, 1. And maybe try to lift up your right arm. Tiny little bit. Breathe. Keep pressing your heart towards your right thigh. And slowly come back. Take a deep breath in. Wave yourself forward into a high push-up plank. And then knees slowly. Knees to the floor and slowly come all the way down. Placing the hands behind or outside the mat. Come really high on top of your fingers. Take a deep breath in, open. And on an exhale, slowly come back down. Inhale, opening up the chest, shoulder blades away from your ears. And slowly come back. Inhale, open. And exhale. One more time, really lift up. And then come back, bringing the hands under the shoulders. Pull the navel in, tucking the toes, and come back to your downward facing dog. And then bend both knees, look between your hands, and slowly walk your feet all the way to the front of your mat. Bend your knees, maybe hold the opposite elbow and hang here into a forward fold. Maybe move a little bit your upper body, left and right. Really shake your head. Make some funny faces again. Just release all these masks, all these roles we're playing. Just shake it out. This is a moment where we're going to meet our true self. And also where we can feel appreciation towards our true self. Slowly let go of your elbows if you were holding them, and then roll yourself up one vertebrae at a time. Slowly, slowly roll yourself up, pulling the navel in. Feel strong steadiness into your both feet. And then coming to Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, bend over towards the left. And come up straight. And bend over towards the right. Inhale, come up, and hands in front of your heart. Take a deep breath in, reach your arms up. And on an exhale, forward fold and down. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, come to a high push-up plank. And exhale, lowering down with the knees first, elbows close towards the ribcage. Take a deep breath in for cobra, straighten the legs, activate your thighs, and press yourself back into your downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here. 1. 2. And 3. Bend your knees, look between your hands, and step your feet all the way to the front of your mat. Take a deep breath in, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold and down. Inhale, come all the way up. And on an exhale, hands in front of your heart. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, slowly, with a strong spine, come down. Inhale, come up halfway, float your chest up. Exhale, downward facing dog, and stay here. Then we move into a high push-up plank, strong legs, pushing the heels away, and then knees to the floor, and then come forward and down, elbows close towards the ribs. Inhale for cobra, where your pubic bone is still on the floor. And then press yourself back, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Breathe, 3 breaths here. 1. 2. And 3. Bend your knees, look between your hands, and step by step your feet all the way to the front of your mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale, nose towards the knees. Inhale, scoop yourself up, strong arms, strong legs, hands in front of your heart. Inhale, float up. Exhale, float down. Inhale, creating space in the chest, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come to a high push-up plank. And exhale, knees to the floor. Come forward and down with a straight spine. Inhale, opening up the chest, pull the shoulder blades down and press yourself back into your downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here. Don't steal any breath of yourself. Full deep breath. Give it to yourself. It's there. By not using it, you might be just stealing from yourself, and that's not what we like to do. Bending the knees and just walk your feet all the way forward. Inhale, creating space. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And on an exhale, hands in front of your heart. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lifting up the right leg, bringing that right foot forward, left heel down. Take a deep breath in for warrior one. And on an exhale, immediately we go down into a high push-up plank. Chaturanga, lowering down with control. Take a deep breath in, open for Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upper facing dog. And back into Adho Mukha Savasana, into downward facing dog. Other side, lifting up the left leg, bringing that left foot all the way in between your hands, lowering down that right heel. Inhale, come up. And on an exhale, immediately we go back down into a high push-up plank. Lowering down with or without the knees, it's your choice. Take a deep breath in for cobra or upper facing dog, your battle. And press yourself back into this downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here. 1. 2. And 3. And then bend your knees, look between your hands, and step by step all the way to the front of your mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands in front of your heart. One more round like this. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Let's really create some heat into the body. Downward facing dog. Lifting up that right foot. Bringing that right foot all the way in between your hands. Lowering down that left heel. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, immediately back into your plank pose. Chaturanga, lowering down with or without the knees. On an inhale, opening up the chest. And exhale, press yourself back, downward facing dog. Lifting up the left foot. Bringing that left foot all the way in between your hands. Right heel down. Use an in-breath to come up. Use an out-breath to immediately go down with or without the knees. Inhale, cobra or upper facing dog. And exhale, back into your downward facing dog. Stay here and breathe. 1. 2. And 3. Bending the knees, look between your hands and slowly step your feet to the front of your mat. Inhale halfway and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands in front of your heart. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lifting up that right leg. Look under your own body and spot your toes pointing down. Say hello to your toes. Hello, toes. Pressing the heels away. Left heel to the floor. Right heel to maybe the person behind you. Or I don't know what's behind you. Maybe I can push that Buddha there off the table. But I don't want to steal his free time there. So what I'm going to do, take a deep breath in and I'm going to swing my right foot all the way in between my hands. And I'm coming high on top of my fingers, fingertip lunge. Now this is maybe a moment where you grab your 2 blocks or 2 books to create a little bit more space for your belly, a little bit more space for your inner growing. And if not, just stay here, move a bit forward, backwards, exploring a bit of the hip, exploring a little bit where can I still move freely. And then really place your feet to the right place to be able to lift up. Maybe first your hands into the hips, strong legs. Lowering down this knee, almost touching the floor, and then lift it up. Almost touching the floor, lift it up. Almost touching the floor. Stay here, hold. Now push that left heel away from you. Feel that power in your legs. Straighten the arms. Now straighten the right leg and bend it. Straighten the right leg and bend it. straighten the right leg and bend it. Opening up, warrior two. Take a deep breath in, reverse warrior. And exhale, come back, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, come back, warrior two. One more time, inhale, reverse warrior. And on exhale, wave your hands down to the floor, downward facing dog. Stay here, maybe come to a child pose or take a vinyasa flow. We meet each other again in downward facing dog. And then lifting up the left leg. Look under your own body, see if you can spot your own left toes. And press the heels away from you. Strong quadriceps, strong thigh muscles. Pull the navel in, find length into your arms. Lift up your sitting bones. And the ribs close towards the belly. What? Just breathe. Okay, slowly bring that left leg all the way forward and place it in between your hands. Come high on top of your fingers, fingertip lunge. Creating space. Use the blocks or the books to lift up a little bit higher to create a little bit more space. Explore the hips here. Moving a bit left, right, forward, backwards. And then from here, really strong legs, push into the earth. And then the hands into the hips. So focusing first into the legs. Now bending that right knee, almost touching the floor, and come out. Bending that knee, almost touching the floor, and come out. One more time, keep it there. Now pushing that right heel away from you. You have to feel this really in the front of your right hip. And if you sit a lot, this is a great anti-sit stress pose. Finding length into your lower back and then reach your arms overhead. Straightening that front leg and bend it. Do it slowly so you can actually really feel what's going on in your body. And stay, opening up, warrior two pose. Take a deep breath in, reverse warrior. And exhale, come back, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, come back. One more time, inhale, lengthening the left side of the body. And then wave your hands down, back into your downward facing dog. And just wiggle a little bit here. And then look toward your hands and place your thumbs towards each other. So your hands are quite close. Then lifting up the right leg and bring that right foot forward, but you place the big toe of your right foot behind the right wrist. And then lowering down that left knee. And then slowly come to your top of the fingers and walk yourself up. And then see if you can bend, it's already bent. You can lift up your left leg and then bringing your right hand behind you and see if you can grab maybe your toes or your foot and then see if you can give yourself that stretch and twist a little bit more towards the right. And slowly let it go. So don't drop it, but let it go softly. And then try to straightening this right leg for a hamstring stretch. And then move all the way forward. The weight is into the hips. And then move backwards again. And then move forward again. And move backwards again. One more time forward, see if you can really get the weight firm into your hips, lifting up the arms, and then move backwards and swing your arms backwards as well. Inhale up, And exhale, fly. Inhale up. And exhale, fly. And then just place that right knee next towards your left and come into a pose of a child. Asteya. How can you practice Asteya in your life? Non-stealing. Do I steal time from myself? Do I steal time from others? Do I steal the truth? Or maybe yeah, and then it was empty. Yeah, maybe it doesn't resonate with you, something like this I wanted to say. And then slowly come back towards all fours, hands and knees, tucking the toes, pull the navel in and come into your downward facing dog. Look between your hands and place your thumbs together again. Lifting up the left leg and bring that left foot all the way behind the left wrist. So it's just a little bit of a shorter step. And then lowering down that right knee and walk both of your hands on top of your left leg. And just maybe also put something under your right knee if that's really sensitive. And then see if you can lift up that right foot. And then, you can also try with your right hand, but we did it with a twist, seeing if you can grab it with your left hand. And then see if you can even twist a little bit towards the left. So you can use this left leg as a lock where you can actually pull on. Relax. How can I possibly relax in this pose? Well, you have to discover. That's the practice. Okay, slowly come out and then straightening the left leg, looking for this hamstring stretch, finding more length and slowly weight forward, weight backwards. So you will feel more stretch in your hamstring when you're actually finding length into the spine. When you round, some people go all the way back. I notice sometimes in my class, but they are rounding sometimes so you actually miss the whole essence of this hamstring stretch. So I know it's not easy, but see if you can focus in more on lengthening the spine, then actually moving back. Pulling the toes into the face can help as well for your hamstring stretch. Just slowly moving forward and backwards. And then the next time when you're up, see if you can also move your arms up. And when you move back, you can just move your arms back as well. You can also just stay with the first option, keeping your hands to the floor, or placing the hands onto the blocks. For a little bit more length, it's easier than to straightening the spine as well. Okay, one more time. Inhale and exhale. And then slowly come back into a pose of a child. Just a couple of breaths here. Inhale, feeling that length and the lightness. And exhale, feeling the heaviness. This feeling of, I can actually surrender to the earth. And then slowly roll yourself up. And then come back to all fours, hands and knees. And lifting up the right leg and bringing that right foot forward in between your hands and come up into a high lunge. Finding all the weight into the right leg and come up into a standing split. If you want, walk your hands a little bit closer towards your right foot. Or maybe take a book to actually lift up a little bit. But if you can, try to bring your nose to the direction of your knee. Maybe hold your ankle. Then placing the left foot next towards the right. Hold the big toes in yogi toe lock. Take a deep breath in, halfway. Exhale, forward fold and down. Let's go with your yogi toe lock, bending the knees and roll yourself up one vertebrae at a time. And when you're up, finding your balance into your left foot, lifting up the right. Opening up the hip and come into Vrikasana tree pose. Finding the balance, if you want, lifting up the arms. Asteya, non-stealing. I'm not going to steal my chance for reaching my highest potential of today. So I'm looking for my highest potential today because I don't want to steal from myself. Slowly bringing the hands back in front of your heart. And then bringing your right leg forward. Lift it up a little bit higher. And then bend it and move into a warrior 3 with your hands into Namaste prayer pose in front of your heart. And then slowly make a big step all the way back. And here we are in this lunge position again. Hands into the hips. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, opening up the front of the body. And now move forward while pushing your right heel away from you. And just dip your head really on the inside of your left leg. Slowly release, placing the right hand onto the floor and twist open in your twisted lunge. And then slowly come back, slide your left foot all the way back and up, bending the left knee and opening up the hip. And if you want, flip your down dog here into a wild thing. Slowly come back, downward facing dog. If you want, come into a pose of a child or stay here in down dog or bring yourself into a high push-up plank. Lowering down, strong core muscles. Think up when you go down. Inhale, opening up the chest and exhale back into your downward facing dog. Lifting up the left leg. Bringing that left foot all the way forward in between your hands and come up into a high lunge. All the way into your left leg and lift up your right leg into that standing split pose. Breathe. And then placing the right foot next towards the left. Option 1, hold your big toes again. Option 2, place the whole palm of your hand under your feet and see if you can really tickle the wrist, the inside of the wrist with your toes. See if you can move your weight a little bit more forward to really sink the weight into your hands. Inhale halfway and exhale forward fold and down. And slowly release, come out and roll yourself up. One vertebrae at a time. And then place your body weight into your right leg, lifting up the left. Opening up into Vrikasana tree pose, hands in front of your heart. Or maybe you want to straighten out the arms. Slowly, hands back into your heart and stick your left leg up. Maybe lift it up a little bit higher. Really pull the navel in, strong legs. And then bend it and then move into a warrior three pose. And then big step with your left leg onto the floor, hands into your hips. Oops, keeping the balance. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Take a deep breath in, opening up the chest. Slowly come forward, bringing your left heel away from you and dipping on the inside of your right foot. Immediately you can check if you have your toes relaxed and calm. Relaxing the head, pulling the navel in and breathe. And then come into a twisted lunge. Left hand down and reaching the right arm up. And bringing the right hand down. Slide your right foot all the way back and up. Bending the right knee and opening up the hip. And if you want, stay here. Or flip your downward facing dog. Slowly come back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, come to a high push-up plank. Exhale, lowering down, chaturanga. Take a deep breath in, opening up the chest. And exhale back into your downward facing dog. And then bend your knees, look between your hands, step, walk, or make a little hop towards the front of your mat. And while you're hopping, you're crossing your ankles and you come to a seat. And then come lay down onto your back and just for a moment massage the lower back. So we're moving into the second part of this class. So make sure you have your belt close by. We're going to work a little bit more on the back of the legs and the hips. Okay, slowly placing both feet onto the floor. Just have a moment here, relaxing the shoulders. So I'm having this really nice belt, but really just take anything you have and then bend the right knee into the chest and your left leg is straight. And then just bring that belt over your right foot. And then slowly see if you can straighten that right leg. So if you're holding a sock or something, then you probably cannot bring your elbows to the floor. But if whatever you're holding is a little bit longer, then you can slide down and bring the elbows to the floor. Now make both legs active. And your arms as less active as you possibly can. Feeling the stretch on the back of your right leg. And if you want to feel more, pull those toes more towards your face and pushing the heel away. So this looks really different by everyone. Some of you will be maybe here in a 10-degree angle of the floor. And some of you are having your leg more or less towards your face. So wherever you are, appreciate where you are. You have your own life, your own challenges. So comparing is just stupid. Okay, then hold the belt only in your right hand. And I'm holding it a little bit higher now, placing my left hand on top of my hip. And I'm slowly going to outer rotate my right leg. So that means my toes are pointing a bit to the direction of the floor and the heel is going more to the ceiling. And then I'm slowly opening up that right leg all the way to the side. Again, it looks different by everyone, but try not to bring it to the floor if you're really flexible. Then make your both legs really active and keep it just above the floor. And if you're somewhere here and shaking, it's quite of an average state. So just see if you can breathe a couple of times in this stretch. And very slowly lift up that right leg up towards the center again. And now hold the belt only into your left hand. And then first of all, place your thumb into your inner groin. So the space between your belly and your right thigh. And push that as if you want to push this right leg to the left heel. Or pushing the right sitting bone towards the left heel. So I hope you feel that. It's actually putting the hips square again. Now activate both legs and just begin to cross that right leg towards the left. And if you have the right spot, it's like this, because you feel either a strong hamstring stretch or the thigh stretching really on the outside of the right thigh. So rebel a little bit until you feel this, this spot. And then bend your right knee, let go of your belt, and then just come into a very gentle twist. Make it your nice twist. And slowly turn back onto your back, but keep this right knee bent and place the right ankle on top of your left thigh. You're moving into the eye through the needle or the number 4 pose. Interlace the fingers behind your left thigh. If you want, you can place your head on something. If you have long arms, you can bring your hands also behind your left wrist. It's nothing to do with long arms, but it's just funny to say. What I want you to feel is actually a stretch somewhere on the outer right hip. So we're still working on that right hip. We're actually making a 360-degree angle of the right hip. And then straightening that left leg. And place your hands onto the right leg. So the left hand is somewhere onto your right ankle. And the right hand is somewhere around your right knee. To be able to hold this weird angle of your right leg. And then hold it close while you're straightening the left leg. Take a deep breath in and on an exhale start to lowering down this left leg, almost touching the floor, and then lift it up again. Inhale deep. On an exhale, you start to lowering it down again, and on an inhale, lift it up. So use your breath On an exhale, you're lowering down, almost touching the floor. And on an inhale, you lift it up. The next time when your left leg is almost touching the floor, keep it there. Now push your left heel away from you and pull with the arms your right leg towards your chest. Slowly release the left leg onto the floor and turn your right hip again into a neutral position. And here we have finished the 360-degree angle off your right hip. And then place both hands into your belly, straightening the right leg. Take a deep breath in and slowly lowering down that right leg. And then just hold, and then again activate both legs. And on an exhale, lowering it down a little bit. So really slowly, you're lowering down this right leg towards the floor. Really taking time. And maybe there comes this point that you think like, where is the floor? There's no floor anymore. I promise you, the floor is there. And then relax. Feeling maybe a difference between left and right. And then we're going to move over towards the other side. So bend the left knee. Interlace the fingers around your left knee and maybe just explore a little bit. And then taking the belt or whatever you're using, and then try to straighten out that left leg. Be gentle, be kind. Appreciate where you are. Honor your talents and also honor the talents you might not have. And then hold the belt only in your left hand. The right hand goes onto the hips, out to rotate your left leg, and slowly move your left leg all the way to the left. Just until it feels okay for your body. And slowly come back up, holding the belt only in the right leg, placing the thumb into your inner groin and push that left hip towards your right heel. Pull the navel in and just begin to cross that left leg over the right. And bend that left knee, let go of your belt and come into a nice twist. So adjust your pose, left knee over the right and let that hip really come off the floor. And bring the left shoulder back to the floor. Slowly come back, but keep your left knee bent and place that left ankle on top of your right knee for that eye through the needle or number 4 pose. If you want, again, maybe place something behind your head and then lift up your right leg, interlace the fingers behind your right thigh and feeling that stretch somewhere on your left outer hip. Sometimes it's nice if you wiggle a little bit from left to right to just feel a little bit of different sensations. And then straightening the right leg, holding only the left leg. Maybe this is the moment actually when you had something under your head to remove it again. Okay, really lengthening that right leg and start to move it almost touching the floor. A couple of times on your own. On an inhale, lift up. Exhale, lowering down. Use the breath. And then the next time when your right leg is almost touching the floor, keep it there. And really push your right heel away and pull the left knee hip in. Really, so push that right heel away, pull the left leg in towards your chest, and then release. Placing that right leg onto the floor and turn your left hip straight again. And then straighten the left leg, both hands onto your belly. Straighten both legs, really lengthening, pushing those heels away, and take many, many breaths to just slowly lowering down that left leg towards the floor. And then finally your left leg will reach the floor. And maybe wiggle a little bit with your legs, your hips. Maybe make that movement your body is asking. And then come into Shavasana. Straighten the legs, make yourself comfortable. Maybe bring your shoulder blades a little bit more towards each other, opening up the palms. And enjoy this last pose of the class, laying down, relaxing. You did a lot of activities in strength with the thighs, so really start to relaxing the legs. Relaxing the arms, the shoulders. Very good. Letting go. I live in gratitude for all I have. I take and use only what is rightfully mine. I respect the possessions and talents of others, and I release my desires to own objects or talents I do not have. I appreciate my life as it is. And slowly activate your breath again. Moving the fingers, the hands, the wrists. On your next inhale, reach your arms overhead. Give yourself a nice full body stretch throughout your whole body. Bending the knees, bringing the knees into the chest, and give yourself a nice and well-deserved hug. And roll onto your right side. Slowly come back towards a seat. Place your hands in front of your heart and bow your head towards your heart. And just go back to the beginning of the class. Is there any difference in experiencing of the body, your experience of the mind? What kind of desires do you feel right now? And maybe go back towards this dedication of you. And give yourself a nice smile and bring that with you during the rest of this day. And then slowly come out of this class. Thank you so much, Namaste, for joining me for this full, nice Vinyasa practice. Oh, let me know if you had some muscle ache or whatever. Leave a comment, give me a like, subscribe, or donate if you like. With all my heart, I'm teaching here from this beautiful living room from VolksYoga. I hope you liked it, and I hope to see you next time. So, bye-bye, enjoy, ciao, ciao.